This is ORE, Organizational Research Engine. Teams have issues, Slack, wikis, Git history, but people still ping the same senior engineer for answers because AI retrieves documents and misses the causal link an expert would make. ORE captures that reasoning from one expert correction and reuse it on new questions. We have created a full database to replicate the issue in our local system. It has all the wikis, it has all the Slack conversations, it has all the Git logs and the issues. This will really help us to replicate the issue in our local environment. So let's get started with the demo. So here we have questions. We can click any question 1. We'll run the investigation. V1 has no learned rules. It retrieves from our force sources and reasons with Claude. It found the block ticket and stack hole, but look, it openly admits that it couldn't connect the cause. March 14 commit is right there in the git log. V1 never joins the dates, that's missing cross link, and it lowers confidence instead of inventing the answer. We'll now go to the expert section. I'll act as an expert. We'll type in issue tracker, Slack and Git we had in this issue. Then we'll submit, and it will learn from this expert correction. And when it will complete, it will construct a heuristic which will act as a future reference for all the questions. The heuristic states everything which the V1 missed. So now after the V2, we'll check the comparison tab. We'll run the comparison for V2. The V2 answers would be generated here. Heuristic applied. V2 now retrieves a source V1 never had. Evidence coverage goes up. The root cause is identified. And the gap V1 admitted is resolved. V1 said blocked on dependency. V2 names the session library. That's a jump. We have captured this in our learning dashboard. What we are taking is we are having root cause identification. We have V1 to V2 resolution gap. And let me run all the questions now in the meantime. We'll run investigation for question 7. Written the expert answer. Shows Git and Slack. And we can see a transferred learning which came from heuristic which fired in question number 1 is now connected in question number 7, which states that the architecture is self-improving. Not all questions will require a expert correction. In future, the corrections will decrease and AI will be able to answer it on itself. Now coming on to the achievement metrics, we have achieved a score of 86.5% in AI to expert similarity score. The target was 75%. Root cause identification is 100%. Evidence coverage is 95.2%. V1 to V2 gap resolution is 100%. And the average response time is 4.3 seconds. Would like to clarify on V1 to V2 response similarity. That is almost leveling because I'm using mini LM embedding for my local system and the vector space is small. So the improved V2 answers are not getting enough vector space to spread upon. So the scores are similar. That's why we have used a metric of gap resolution where we are getting causal steps or context awareness or documents fetching results from the V1 clarification, which are included as an extra step in the V2 requirement so that we can have extra retrieval and context-rich awareness for the retrieval. And here is the heuristic library which is getting created at every question prompt, and this will serve as the most dense knowledge source for the entire application in the future.